Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the channel. So, we've got some interesting things to discuss. So, today, as I am recording this video, we just had US news, and the US news came out lighter than expected, or cooler than expected, I should say. So, if we take a look at the dollar index here, we can see we had a huge move on the dollar, broken out of this trend line, came down and tested this level of support that held it really nicely. So, as you can see, we've got a bearish dollar. That's great. Day-to-day news, who cares? It is what it is. But we have a more interesting thing to discuss, and that's the dollar yen, or the yen in general. So, having looked at the dollar index, let's have a look at the yen index. Why would the yen react like this due to the US news? Well, it shouldn't, and it's not. So what's happened here is we've had a MOF intervention. So MOF is the Ministry of Finance, and they are the people that do the interventions for the yen and for Japan. A lot of people think it's the Bank of Japan. It's not. It's not the BOJ. It's the MOF. So, having said that, what does that mean? Well, that means we had a huge plunge on the dollar. So, regardless of the US news, the dollar yen would have still had this move to the downside, and all of the other yen pairs will. So, if you check the Australian yen, pound yen, dollar yen, euro yen, they've all got the same move, and regardless of the US news. However, the MOF seemed to have timed it perfectly to match up with US news, which isn't a surprise. They're not stupid. In the last intervention, they did it during a holiday, and you could see there was a lot of smart money outflow during that period. So, what do we see here? Let me just pull something up for you guys really quickly here. So, I've just tweeted this out. So, this is a report from June. The signs were very clear. And how many times? So, if you guys have watched me on Trader Nick's channel or even my own content, then you will have heard me speak over and over and over again about the yen. Be very careful as interventions. We're in the danger zone and we won't get a warning. And that's exactly what's happened. So let's see here. According to our positioning indicator, the market remains short on the JPY, or the yen, by only a modestly less degree than it was back in late April. And what happened then? There was an intervention, and the same levels were hit. So there was an intervention. And these signs are very obvious. And I know a lot of people at the moment will be saying this is US news, da da da. It's not. Well, it's unconfirmed. There is no announcement yet that this was an intervention. However, it's almost certain. There is all the signs of an intervention are here, and it's very, very clear that that's what's happened. I mean, it's almost like a 100 to 1 odds that I'm wrong. That one being the 1% chance I am wrong in this situation. And I'm not saying that to sound arrogant or to blow my own horn. It's just very, very clear that, that is what it is. So the next point is, what do we do here? Well, interventions are actually a very good thing. And there's two reasons for that. So obviously there's the retail aspect of it, that these interventions allow us to get into the markets. These allow us to get entries. So for example, up here, there was nowhere to enter. And sure, we had a little pullback here, but this is nothing really relative to the move we've had to this upside. Now we've had a really, really healthy move back. So you can see we've now slowed down. Let me delete this arrow. You can see we've now slowed down. We've seen this wick to the downside off this level of support and also meeting this trend line. So the uptrend is intact. So that's fine. So this is a good sign that this is still strong. Now, the second point is that retail seem to be so scared of interventions, and I understand why. Now, interventions are something you need to be very cautious of. As I said previously, you do need to account for them, and you need to be willing to take that risk on the yen. Now, it's not likely we'll see another intervention tomorrow or next week. Normally, they happen sort of every 2 or 3 months, roughly. Don't take my word for that. Anything could happen tomorrow. I don't know. But it's unlikely. It's very, very unlikely we'll see another intervention tomorrow. So what is an intervention? Why does the MOF do interventions? What's the point if the trend is going to continue? So you can see the dollar yen here. They've intervened multiple times here, and the trend's not changed. So the reason that these interventions happen is not to change the trend. The idea isn't for... Sorry, I'm just getting a phone call. The reason isn't for the trend to then suddenly turn bearish and then everyone starts selling or buying the yen. The only reason for these interventions is to slow down the depreciation of the yen. So you can see that the depreciation against the dollar has been huge. So you can see since, when was this? June 24th up until July, the 4th of June till July the 3rd. So that's just under a month by 1 day. It was a 4.65% increase, which is large. It's not necessarily a small move. And that's just 1 month. So the idea is to just slow this down, to slow down this trend and slow down the value, the lowering value of the yen. And that's all it is. That's as simple as it goes, really. This isn't going to, the dollar yen's not now going to start selling off and going back down to sort of, 130, 120 levels. It's likely will continue this uptrend, and it likely will continue it pretty soon. We may see sort of the beginning of a reversal off this later today or tomorrow into sort of the early next week. Bearing in mind, the time I'm recording this obviously will differ from the time you watch it. So by the time you're watching it, this may already be old news. But yeah, I wanted to make this video, make it sort of very clear that what's going on. And again, this isn't 100% confirmed. So it may come out that I'm completely wrong. However, all the signs are there that it's an MOF intervention. My team, my analyst agrees as well. It seems, again, it's like 100 to 1 that it is an intervention. The 99% chance that it is. So yeah, don't fear. Don't worry about these interventions unless you're in trades. You need, if you are trading yen pairs, you need to be very, very strict with your risk management. I was in a pound yen pair, a pound yen trade. Really, really nice profit. It was probably 1.5% profit, and I got stopped at break even due to this intervention, which, it is what it is. I'd rather get stopped at break even than be in a trade that's dropping and dropping and dropping with no sign of stoppage. So yeah, I think for me, this is a great sign that we could start going long. And if I do take a long position, which I've already got one planned on a different pair, a yen pair, obviously. So, if you want to follow these, click the link in the description. You can join the private Discord, follow our signals, education, network with other traders, things like that. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you very soon. Stay safe in these markets.